All right, ladies and gents, welcome back to Ask the King. I hope you guys had a good break. If you were live on stream, if not, if you're watching on demand on YouTube, welcome back to the show. So, it's time for shoutouts because during the break we had some cool we had some nice contributions. We start off with Atlas Telemon, who tipped me $1.50. He says, I hope you stay for many more years. I do too, man. Wholeheartedly, I love what I do. I love it. Like I tell you guys, I'm not making this up. I love what I do more than ever before. This is so fun to me to sit here and interact with you guys, answer your questions, have a good time every day with games. And I know as I get older, probably it ain't going to be games every time. It'll be something different. We'll do some variety stuff. But I really like it. I want to do it as long as I can, and I hope that I can. All right? So thank you for that. Also, during the break, I received a $40 tip from 1 Minute Man. Thank you so much to 1 Minute Man for $40 tip. And because it's $40, that means we have been pushed past the tier 2 tips goal for today's stream. All right? And that means you guys are going to vote on a vest. Normally it would be a hat, but I'm doing Ask the King. I'm already wearing a hat. So let's go ahead and let's have a poll for a vest. Determine what vest you guys would actually like to see here on the stream today. Okay? So, which vest is Ask the King best? Would it be the original beige? Would it be the red? Would it be platinum? Or would it be gold? There we go. You guys please vote live on the stream. Now, over on the YouTube side of things, we got 2 membership renewals. One comes from 672, who has upped his membership for a year of support, entering month number 12. That's right. It's actually going to be 1 month, less than a month actually, where some people will be able to up their memberships to a full year, and then they get the new crown symbol, the new icon in chat. So 672 re-ups his memberships, is always glad to support. Free my ninja Clyde Baxter. All Clyde had to do was remove his fake crown from his name last night. He literally decided to, be stupid about it. And all he has to do is ask me for an unban. He hasn't. I'm not too worried about it. Joe Man, 66, has also re-upped his membership. Says, 1 whole year, can we get a pimp? Much love. Well, you just got one. Thank you very much. To Joe Man. I appreciate that very, very much. Okay. So people are voting on a vest. In the meantime, while people are voting on a vest, let's get right into the next questions, shall we? Okay. Holy shit, I still have three pages left. Okay. Whoa. Our first question of part 2 comes from Mr. Adam Dark Blood. What a name. He asked the following. How do you feel about phrases and mannerisms being spread through your fan base completely and completely unrelated parties? It is a common occurrence in my household to yell, "It fits perfectly," when something fits just right, or to refer to something as, "We are the something triplets." My family and friends have rarely even heard your name, yet through my actions as a fan, they have picked up and used your sayings as everyday mannerisms for years. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, that's incredibly disturbing. I'd like to say that's actually creepy as hell, and I wish you and your family the best. What I would suggest is that you get a priest in your house, quickly to exercise it. Because if you've been saying those things for years and years on end, you've probably got a few demons that have moved in. And they're probably waiting to prey on you and your family. So I would say maybe get Father May-I in there and start, wiggling the holy water over his head and clear out the... Okay. Anyway, so, first of all, my mannerisms and my sayings, all right? What's funny about this is, okay, even though there have been things that I've said over the years in patterns, and even though there have been things that become kind of, a turn of phrase, I guess they would call it, things that are common that I would say on my streams and in my videos, those things are actually way more common to you than they are to me. And allow me to explain what I mean by that, okay? When I'm sitting here on a stream or I'm putting out a video or both, you know, I'm just going with the flow. It's my normal way of speaking, right? You know, these sayings and things that I say. I usually don't even realize if and when I'm using them. They just kind of come out, right? I would say actually some of the things that Adam has referenced, like if it's perfectly or we are the triplets, are very old things, right? How often today, paper just started moving. How often today in 2022 do you really hear me say something about we are the something triplets? Very rarely, and even if I do, it's meant to be like a nostalgic throwback to the things that I used to say back in the day, right? I guess, would there be new things that I say today? Or like I'm just curious, those who are here live, do you guys have any sayings or mannerisms in my speech that I say today that you would say are things that I say commonly? Because I feel like these things here are things that maybe way back when, like the whole we are the blank triplets, that's from Kirby's Epic Yarn. That's an over 10-year-old playthrough, you know? As for it fits perfectly, every once in a while I'll say that, but how often, right? So instead of talking about ban evading and being stupid assholes in the chat, could you guys maybe like respond to what I'm saying? Because people are dumb and they're talking about ban evasion and dumb shit has nothing to do with the show. Could you actually respond to me in an interactive stream manner before I just fucking start kicking people out of the chat? That'd be nice. So anyway, John Smith says, wow, dude is still common. I still say that a lot. Wow, dude. I probably do. Yeah. You say, no, really. Okay, you're right. That's something that I picked up recently, I think. I probably in the last year or two. Saying, no, really. I think, yeah, that's something that's been more. Fair enough or thus. That's, yeah, fair enough. I don't even know where I picked that one up. Fair enough. I think that might have just been years and years and years ago that I picked that one up. I say, I would argue, and thus. Sounds good. Fair enough. I would argue, and thus. So, you know, those are things that are part. Oh, and bottom line. Oh, yeah. I say bottom line a lot, don't I, Battle Duck? Now you said that, it kind of strikes a chord in my head. Dude, I say that bottom line a lot, right? So, those are things that are more like things thrown into common conversation, right? But it's not necessarily like a repeated phrase or something that will catch on in a household, I don't feel. Like how many people would say, you know, bottom line constantly because I say it in a video? I don't think you would. Or fair. How many people would say fair enough a lot because I say fair enough a lot? Those are more like, those are things you just implement in your own normal speech as opposed to an actual saying. Like, we are the something triplets. I say back in the day, those kind of things stood out more, possibly. And there's probably a few reasons why. Number one, because back in the day, you know, when video comments were on in public until I turned them off for 5 years. Yeah, I did. But before, when the video comments were more public, whenever something like that would happen in a video, people would immediately start posting it in the comments and it would go, here it comes. Everyone wants to say it and everyone wants to repeat it, right? But I feel like those sayings are old now. I really do. I feel like those sayings are very outdated. But the thing is, to me, those sayings aren't even things that I feel like I said that much. Now, maybe you feel that way, but I think I know why you feel that way. Because I'm the creator and you are the viewer. When you watch a video of mine and you hear me say, it fits perfectly, and you like that, oh, it's funny, you probably go back and watch the video again. You probably have videos of mine that are your favorites, and you go back and watch certain moments in a playthrough or certain countdowns or certain things over and over the years where those sayings stood out. So in your mind, you've heard it said over and over and over, right? And when you hear it said that much, now it becomes resonant in your mind as something that is associated with me as a content creator. Even though, in reality, I probably didn't say it that much, okay? But it was a notable time when I said it, and it's a moment that stands out, so people remember it, and then you think, oh, that's a saying Phil says all the time. But maybe I didn't, right? So, I'm not sure. So how do I feel about this? Is Adam's question. He said, how would I feel knowing that across the globe there's likely families of people saying my sayings over and over in their households? In truth, Adam, you and your family have probably used those phrases way more than I ever did. I don't think I say it fits perfectly or we are the something triplets that often, right? Even back then, every once in a while, but not all the time. But if you've adopted it as a saying in your house, then yeah, your family's probably saying a hell of a lot more than me. And that's funny to me that there are actually people who are repeating things that I've said on a stream on a whim, and it's become like a thing, you know, a meme for them. So it is like a family meme. It's funny, huh? Let's see here. Plum Girl says you need to make a T-shirt with your fan favorite DSP quotes on it. Battlelook says we only see that you stream and record. We don't see you when you're taking a dump. Shocking. I know of all the invaluable conversations that we're missing out on. Alice Telemon did a couple of tips here. And he says, all employees proceed to the bottom platform. I repeat, all employees recede to the bottom platform. Again, how often do I say that? That was one playthrough, but it became a big meme, and then it became a song I play, and now people mention it. You see? Then Alice Telemon did another $1.50 tip. He says, actually, you literally say 100% of the time you land a spinning pile driver with Zangief, you say, yes! Really? I got to pay attention to that tomorrow night. I'm going to pay attention to that. Tomorrow night, tell me about that. Say, if you grab an SPD, you're going to say yes. I probably do. He's probably right. It's an exaltation of accomplishment when I land the SPD. TX Shooter 50 did a super chat. He said, what was the saying you always say since you played Watch Dogs? The saying that I always say since I played Watch Dogs. Huh. What saying did I start saying during Watch Dogs? Darkness is I always say, Sledgehammer. I do always do Peter Gabriel. Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer. I love that song, that's why. It looks like Platinum Vest is going to overwhelmingly win this poll, so I'm just going to prematurely end it. I'm going to get the Platinum Vest on. And then we're going to go to our next question. I know. Sledgehammer is a good song. I want to be your sledgehammer. All right. We haven't had a Platinum Vest in a long time. Here it is. Now, if we hit the full 150 today, you guys get to pick. You can either have a vest swap to a jersey, or we can have a different hat for the rest of Ask the King. So we'll see what happens. Okay. I say hello and welcome every day. Nice. Hello and welcome to the pre-stream podcast. Hello and welcome to Ask the King. Hello and welcome. I have gas. It's a good way to start a video. Okay. Kevin Bernstein asked the following: who inspired you to become a streamer and entertainer, and how did you first get into the business? Do you recommend this for someone who is tired of working a boring 9-to-5 job? So first of all, I already mentioned this. It was actually watching the Angry Video Game Nerd that inspired me to try to make content. Now, he didn't make the kind of content that I wanted to make. He was making produced, scripted reviews and stuff like that. And not to say that I didn't feel like I wanted to eventually try my hand at that, but I just wanted to play video games and react to them and see what would happen. You know, very different than the kind of content that he puts out, where he has scripts and actual agenda, you know, something to follow, to talk about in the game. I'm playing the games live. You see, very different. But did I ever think that I was actually going to make a living as a streamer or entertainer? Never. It just happened. It got popular out of nowhere. I lost my job out of nowhere, and it happened to be something I could fall back on, that at that point I could find a way to monetize my videos. Okay? How did I first get into the business? It was a hobby. For 2.5 years, I dicked around with a camera pointed at my TV, playing random games, swearing like a sailor, and just having silly fun with it. Never taking it seriously for a moment. Never. And then, when I lost the office job that I had for almost 5 years, I had nothing else to fall back on at the time. And I found a way by teaming up with, at that time, Machinima, to monetize my content. And that was the history. Like after that, it was just make videos, monetize, and make a living doing it. Do you recommend this for someone who is tired and working a boring 9-to-5 job? As I've said, I don't feel, all right, that anyone could do what I do right now. You have to really follow the trends. You have to follow what the YouTube algorithm is going to pick up if you want to have any kind of a hope of making a living doing what I do. I am the anomaly because I've been around for so long that I have dedicated people who like what I do and support the style that I do, but someone new just jumping into it probably would not find success doing it this way. You would have to adapt to all of the new trends and things that people are constantly doing. Okay? So there you go. Could someone potentially jump into this full time instead of a 9-to-5 job and make a living? Maybe. But there's been people, and I'll give you an example here. Someone that I'm actually very sad that this happened to. Okay? Stuttering Craig. Someone who many years ago started to some extent internet content creation for gaming with Screw Attack. Remember those guys at screwattack.com? And every day they had hard news, and they had game review series, and they had the Side Scrollers podcast, and they had what was the name of the show that's now still popular because they sold it? The Versus show, where like Goku versus Superman and shit like that. I can't actually remember the name of the show. They sold it to Rooster Teeth, and they made a lot of money doing it. But basically, this guy, along with other people, because there are other people who were along for the ride with him, but they kind of all left over the years. Death Battle, that's what it's called. Yes. He was one of the innovators of internet content creation for video games specifically. I mean, his business was so popular, he ran giant scale gaming conventions and everything, right? In Texas and all kinds of stuff. I attended one of them. Okay? But over the years, you know, he basically fell out of prominence because Screw Attack ended up falling apart. People left. He sold pieces of it, and essentially he couldn't stay afloat anymore. So the thing is, he absolutely, positively wanted to keep making content about video games. And he tried to be a YouTuber. He basically changed, he stopped doing that kind of stuff. And I think it was about 2 years ago, he started his own independent YouTube channel. He's like, listen, I got thousands of people all over the globe who followed my content over the years. We can make this happen. And it didn't work. Because you can't make a living doing that anymore. You just can't. Like, he tried to start from scratch and say, I'm going to start over. We're going to have podcasts I'm going to do. We're going to have guests like the Angry Video Game Nerd on the show. I'm going to do gameplay stuff. I'm going to talk about news. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. So basically, he tried to start from scratch and do his own brand of content on YouTube. And it failed. And I actually don't blame him. I blame YouTube. Because it's impossible to start as someone like this and make a living doing it. It's impossible. You have to have some kind of a weird foothold already. You need to get virally popular because of the algorithm. You can't really just make a living putting out honest content anymore. It doesn't exist. At one point it did, but YouTube changed their shit so many times over the years. Demonetization, loss of monetization, the algorithm changing time after time. You got to ride that algorithm. You really do. You got to find that sweet spot of how can my video get noticed by a maximum amount of people. And if you don't aim for that, you can't actually be successful. You have to ride those trends. You have to do those things. It sucks. I like Stuttering Craig. I met him a few times. I thought he was one of the nicest guys I ever met. He was really nice to me at a time when no one knew who the hell I even was. He was a gentleman. And then when I was a content creator many years later, and a lot of people hated me on the internet, he was nothing but nice to me. That is not a man who deserved to basically be kind of thrown out of what he loved. Because he had a passion for it, and he had to quit. He had to quit making internet-based gaming content because he couldn't make a living doing it anymore. He had to do what was best for his family. And now he's completely 100% out of it, and no one hears from him ever again. Sucks. I don't like those kind of stories. I don't. Pisses me off. Anyway. TX Shooter did a super chat. And he says, I remember, didn't you say, fool of my enemies a lot? So you're talking, okay. You're talking about the Watch Dogs 3. What the hell was it called? Legion? Watch Dogs Legion playthrough. You're right. To Fool on My Enemies we still bring up today because that song fucking sucks ass. I can't believe they used it in the game. It was so bad. All right, let's continue on. The $1,000 Kitty says he was outed as a scammer. He betrayed and screwed over his friend, the other Screw Attack guy. You're talking about, that was like over a decade ago. And after that, he went on to run Screw Attack successfully afterward for many, many, many years. In fact, he was more popular after Handsome Tom left. So I don't even know what you're talking about. Sounds like someone has some sour grapes there. That's like completely outdated information. Anyway. All right. Captain Charisma asked the following. In the past, you've been very anti-sponsored content when it comes to gaming. Do you also share these views on all content? Where does the ethical line get crossed? Does someone having a 20-second ad read in an hour-long video take away the content, or does it go deeper than that? I think it's take away from the content, or does it go deeper than that? When does a video go from a video with an ad to a paid shill video to you? Okay. Personally, here's my take on paid advertisements, okay? First of all, 100% a paid advertisement should be fully disclosed as a paid advertisement, period. None of this hybrid bullshit where a content creator gets a game early, plays it early, but can't criticize the game because, oh, the review embargo is next week. So they literally can only sit there and say positive things about the game, but they don't tell you it's a paid advertisement. It literally is. But they won't say, by the way, this stream is 100% a paid advertisement, just so you guys know. They don't ever do that. Maybe they'll put a little blip in the description of the stream or video that no one reads. It's completely dishonest. I disagree with that kind of content. I don't necessarily disagree with someone taking an ad space to make a paycheck. I just think it's really corny, and I'll give you an example. So my wife and I have been watching some different shows. One of the shows we've been watching recently is Shark Tank. Well, because we watch it on one of these apps that has ads, we have to watch TV ads. One of the ads we've seen has, what's her name? Melissa McCarthy, the actress, the comedian. And those two guys that are called the Property Brothers, I don't even know what their names are. But I know that I guess they're very popular for like HGTV. They have shows and shit on there. And the ad is, for some reason, Melissa McCarthy is like, she has a slingshot. And she's shooting things in her house and breaking them. And the Property Brothers are like going like this, dodging the things she's shooting as she destroys things in her house. And then it's an ad for something from Chase Bank. Okay? Now, I watch this and I say, what the fuck am I watching? Number one, what the fuck does Melissa McCarthy have to do with the Property Brothers? Absolutely nothing. It's what a weird team up that these people would even be in the same piece of content together of any kind. I have no idea what the segment's supposed to be about. I've seen the ad about 25 times now because it plays every fucking time we watch Shark Tank. And I still don't know what it is. It's an insanely poorly designed ad that doesn't hit on any of the things you would want to know, like what is the product, how does it benefit me. It's a complete waste of everyone's time. It's literally just watch this video with people you probably know from other shit doing random shit. And then they're like, oh, Chase Bank. Huh? The fuck is this? Now, do I fault anyone in that video for taking a paycheck to be part of that ad? I mean, no, I guess you got to make a living. I mean, Melissa McCarthy's been in ridiculously large comedy movies. She's probably filthy rich. The Property Brothers have multiple TV shows they run. I believe they have a magazine that I've seen at the local grocery store. At one point, a couple years ago, they actually had their own personal product line of shit being sold in Kohl's stores. I don't know if they made any money doing that, but to my knowledge, they're already filthy rich. So why these particular celebrities would need to be chosen or choose this ad and choose to be a part of it, I'm at a loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're already rich. Do they really need to take the easy paycheck to be in this weird ad that makes no sense? Right? Now, if you are someone on the internet like a content creator and you need to make a living doing your content and you have an ad space in your content to advertise a product. Like, for example, if I had a sponsor and I said, ladies and gentlemen, Hori neck phones. this portion of the stream is paid by Hori neck phones. You can get them now on Amazon for $50. There's a sale, and they work really well, and blah blah blah. If someone didn't say, and this is a paid advertisement, so just so you guys know, do I necessarily fault someone for doing that? Not really, I guess. Is it annoying? Yeah. Is it a complete waste of your time as a viewer? Of course it is. You know that nothing that's being said during that portion of a stream is genuine, right? But I don't necessarily think that it's like that intrusive. If it's just one moment or a couple moments, let's say someone's put out a 3-hour stream and they did that twice. Is that big of a deal? I mean, someone's trying to make a living, man. You got to understand, right? I guess that's okay. All right. And by the way, that was not an official product placement at all. That was an example. I have absolutely no sponsorships, no partnerships, nothing here. I just don't want anyone to misconstrue that and say, was Phil trying to advertise? No, I have no partnership with anyone to advertise anything. Okay. That was just an example, right? Now, for me, where does it go too far? It goes too far when you see influencers pushing product to make a buck and actually doing things like false testimonials, or I really, really strongly disagree and hate when people get a game or a product early and they are using said product or playing said game, but it's a paid advertisement. They're not able to be truthful about it, right? Like, I'll give you an example. If a mouse company contacted me and said, we'd like to send you this mouse for free if you would do a review of it, I would say, sure, I'll accept your mouse for free, but just so you know, if I don't like the mouse, I'm going to say that in the review. I'm not promising you a positive review on your product. You have to understand I'm going to be truthful in my review of this mouse. And if they agreed to that, then I would take that sponsorship opportunity. But if they said, oh no, listen, the whole point here is we're trying to get advertising out there for our product. So if we send you this for free, or we're going to make an agreement with you that we're going to pay you to put this product in your video or whatever, you have to be positive about it completely. I would say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be dishonest to my viewer base, okay? Now, you guys may not realize this. There's a lot of content creators out there that are doing just that to you on a daily basis. And you may not know it. They may not be transparent about it. It may be that they only put information about the stuff that they're advertising in the description of their video or the description of their stream, and you think that they're being legit, and you are being advertised to constantly. There's content creators that are like this, okay? Obviously, I'm not going to say names and start litigation process that people try to sue me, but the thing is, you have to be diligent with what you watch. You have to be. You have to know that when you're watching someone put out content, that's not a paid advertisement, okay? This is becoming a big problem with online content. Instead of being, oh, I'm an online gamer and I share passion just like you, it's like, oh, I'm an influencer, and therefore everything I do is to be monetized, and you know what I mean, and make a buck. It's ridiculous, okay? It is. It's just ridiculous how much this is becoming a prominent thing. And what's happening is certain companies are making a fortune on this shit because people are buying their product, playing their game, doing shit that normally they wouldn't do because their favorite content creator did it and said it was good, and these idiots don't realize they were advertised to. It's ignorance about how it works. And the funny part is, you usually will not hear a content creator talk about it. Why? Because that's how they make their living. That's their gravy train. Do you guys remember years ago when I was going to play State of Decay 2? And there were 3 or 4 very prominent content creators who got the game earlier on in the week. And I called it out on Twitter and I said, these people are paid shills. They're literally being paid to play the game. They can't review it yet. The review embargo's later in the week. So anyone you watch is saying the game is good and lying to you. Wait for later in the week, and then I will make my content that will be genuine. And what happened? I actually got attacked by numerous content creators, all of which have these kind of agreements, and say, oh, Phil's just sour grapes because he's the old man content creator who can't get those kind of arrangements, and he doesn't understand how the industry works, and blah, blah, blah. They literally felt attacked by me. I'm nobody. And they actually came after me on social media saying that, oh, you're an idiot, you're a scumbag. I was like, wait, now think about it. I'm no one, and as someone who has 40 times the viewer base of me is going to attack me for saying it, you know what that means? I struck a chord. It means I was right. And I'm 100% correct, and they're afraid I'm going to take away their lucrative sponsorship opportunities by pulling the wool off of your eyes and making you realize that's exactly what it is. You see? So, in regards to sponsored content, okay, listen, I understand it's not easy making a living doing what you love. If you're a content creator online and you have a product placement once in a while, and it's not intrusive to your content, and as long as you're blatantly calling out that you're doing an advertisement, all right, that's okay in my eyes. Sometimes, right, it's what we call a necessary evil. No one likes to be advertised to, but if people need to do it to make a living, then so be it, all right? As long as they're not being dishonest and trying to pull the wool over your eyes on what they're doing, I'm okay with it. But I 1,000,000% disagree with these content creators who get this shit super early, put out playthroughs, do streams, and it's paid advertisement. They are not allowed to criticize the game because the review embargo hasn't raised yet. So they're literally just advertising to their audience and not telling them. They're making money hand over fist because the audience watches that early streamer video and they contribute. They throw tips, they throw super chats, they throw memberships and subscriptions. They contribute to their Patreon. They buy their merch and shit because they got the game early. Now tell me, what the fuck did that person do to earn that? Do they deserve it just because they're a paid shill and they play the game and they tap dance and they fucking kiss everyone's ass? Do they deserve to make a double paycheck? Not only did they get paid by the company who gave them the shit early, now they get paid by their own viewer base too. How dumb of a viewer can you be to think that that kind of person cares about you, right? That person literally is there to make a buck. If they couldn't make a buck, they wouldn't even turn their fucking stream on, right? So that's what actually gets me about content creation. That's where I draw the line. If you need to have advertisement in your content to get by, to make a living, I'm not going to fault you for that. Have an ad every once in a while. But at least have some fucking credence, some fucking, some respect for your viewing audience, and at least put out content that's real. Not, oh, by the way, today's entire stream is a paid advertisement. Well, fuck off then. Go fuck yourself. No one needs you. You're not necessary to content creation. You're the end product of a fucked system where people believe that you're actually someone who's trying to care about what they're putting out when you don't. You make a paycheck, you're a money printing machine, but you're a scumbag. I will never, ever respect someone who literally sat down today and turned on the camera just to fucking have a paycheck and then they turned it back off. That's beyond fucked to me, you know? Have some dignity, have some fucking respect, have some kind of credence in what you do. And, you know, to some extent, okay, to some extent, just so you guys know, all right, this is what really irked me about the early days of YouTube, because when I got into gaming on YouTube back in the day, all right, basically, I loved games. It was my passion, my hobby for my life. And for 2.5 years, I put out videos on YouTube and I never monetized a single thing. I didn't take any paid product placements or nothing. It wasn't until I lost my office job that I made it my job and I monetized my videos. All of a sudden, in 2011, when me and a few other content creators started to monetize our gameplay videos, you all of a sudden had all these people who never put out gaming content before who jumped into the space. All right? The one that notably I criticized back in the day was Toby Turner. He made zero gameplay content. Zero. Until he could monetize it. And then immediately he jumped into the space only to make money doing it. It was the only reason he ever did it. And he got giant sponsorships. He was fucking advertising Madden. What the fuck does Toby Turner have to do with football? Nothing. But these idiots paid him money to advertise games, okay? That is a grade A example of the person who I don't respect because you didn't even care about video games until you could make a living doing it. And then all of a sudden, 50% of your content is video game content. Like, get the fuck out of my face. You're just incredible. the dishonesty, the disrespect, and the fucked up mindset of people like that, you know? And he's not the only one, but if I mention other people, all of a sudden people will try to get me in trouble for it. Because there's quite a few people who back in the day, all of a sudden, became gamers overnight when they could make a living doing it. Okay. Let's continue. And by the way, we got about another 15 minutes before I have to go on break here. Young Sinatra asked the following: what's the coolest place you've been to in Washington? Well, basically, when I moved here, I looked into some of the nice places to go. And when Kat moved in with me, we actually went to a couple of them. I would say the two coolest places that I've been in Washington State so far would either be the Pop Culture Museum, and I forget the actual name of it, but it's a pop culture museum. It focuses on all kinds of stuff: music, movies, television, video games, comic books, all kinds of fun stuff. And they rotate their exhibits around. Just a few times I've been there, I've actually seen things about horror movies, sci-fi fantasy movies like Star Wars. Nirvana had its own exhibit, the history of Nirvana the band. Legos, an actual indie video game exhibit. Jimi Hendrix. I'm trying to think, because there's more than that I've seen. I guess that's what's coming to mind. Oh, fantasy. They had a whole fantasy exhibit where I got to see things from all different fantasy movies like Lord of the Rings and Labyrinth and shit like that. Props and outfits and all kinds of stuff. And also they have some really cool things. Like they have this room you go in, and it's like this projection simulation where it makes you feel like you're in space and shit. It's really neat. We did it together and loved it. So I would say the Pop Culture Museum is really, really neat. And then the other place that I actually really like, but you'll only like this if you're into kind of like marketplaces. Okay? So for example, if you like shopping, but you like walking and shopping around and seeing a variety of stuff, Pike Place Market. Pike Place Market is an indoor market. It's half outdoor, half indoors. It's very unique the way that they set this up. And you could get so many things. You could get artsy stuff. You could get actual artwork. You get handmade things like gloves, hats, clothing, jewelry. They sell food there. There's a food market where they sell fish and other stuff. But you can buy baked goods. You can buy cooked foods there. There's a giant comic book store there. There's collectibles. There's music stores where you can buy legacy things like records and tapes and things like that. It's a really, really neat market. And then when you're there, there's great restaurants for seafood. The original Starbucks that was the first one ever in the world is right there. And then if you walk downstairs at the Pike Place Market, you end up on the waterfront. And on the waterfront, there's a whole other slew of fun stuff, like an aquarium, a big mall with all kinds of nautical themed things. They actually have a motion ride there that you can ride. A giant Ferris wheel called The Wheel. If you played The Last of Us 2, you've seen The Wheel and the aquarium because those things are real. Yeah, it's pretty neat. And I would say it's you could spend a whole day there and have tons of fun and eat 2 meals there. It's just a lot to do there. So, in my opinion, those are the 2 coolest things so far that I've done since I lived in Washington State. Now, I'm not saying that there's not other cool things to do. I'm just saying, like, those are the things that are kind of unique to here that stand out in my mind. Okay? There you go. All right. Continuing on. We're now going to move on. We have a question from a patron. And I actually owed this person the answer to this question a while ago. And somehow the question kind of got lost. And now I've remembered and I brought it back up. Now, this is a question that I actually don't think I can answer. You guys may be able to answer this question because I don't think I have the answer to it. So let's see. This will be for long-time viewers and fans. All right. So this question is from Giovanni. And he asks the following. Whatever happened to your 2010 Game of the Year countdown videos? They've been gone since they were ever released on Blip TV that year, and they were never reposted since. Was there legal issues re-uploading those to YouTube when Blip wrongly shut you down, or was there another reason? This has been almost like a lost tapes types of scenario, because they came out, and I always remember what types of games I should look into getting every year based on your Game of the Year countdowns. You were a gamer that tried to play every single new release at that time, so your opinion always mattered most to me compared to anyone else who had a gaming website or put out content. Also, being that it was the only time you did a countdown with 20 games in the countdown. And they were all released that year, and it makes that list stand out because of it. Do you remember any of the games on the list, or would you be able to re-upload them? Even a written list would do. The rising prices of PS3 games recently makes it astounding to afford anything. So actually knowing what games were good would actually help me and maybe other people during that same time period, you know, pick out games. I'm a long-time fan. I hope that you keep staying strong. So the question is, whatever happened to the 2010 Game of the Year awards? All right. Now, I can only partially answer this question, okay? All right. This was a time in history that I'm not proud of. This is a time in my content creation history 12 years ago when I made one of my most stupid, most infamous mistakes, making risque jokes that were insensitive and that pissed off people, okay? And what happened was, I had been uploading content to YouTube for a very long time, all right? 2.5 years at this point. And I lost my office job, and I needed a way to make money. So I started monetizing, not my gameplay on YouTube, because you couldn't monetize gameplay on YouTube in 2010 unless you were with a partner network, which I was not. But you could have your own personal AdSense account, and that account could monetize non-gameplay style videos like vlogs. So I had a vlogging channel, and that vlogging channel blew up when I lost my office job because people felt bad, essentially, that I lost my job. They felt like I was an underdog content creator. I wasn't, super duper well known. I was well known for gaming, but, people looked at that and were like, this is fucked up. Phil's, makes good content. We support him. We like him. And people came out in droves to watch and support those monetized videos. Sadly, what ended up happening was I think people got overzealous, and YouTube saw that overzealousness of activity with my vlogging content and said, oh, basically people are going crazy clicking ads and shouldn't, and therefore we're turning off your AdSense. We're suspending it, okay? So over the years, you've heard tons of slander about that, people spinning it into something that it wasn't. No, I was not removed from YouTube's AdSense program because I said anything in a video. That's completely false. Okay? That's complete bullshit and did not have any bearing on what happened in that situation. Okay? In fact, it's hilarious. The people who say that reference a video that I made a year and a half prior. Okay? I had advertisements on all of my videos for a year and a half before my AdSense was suspended. And I had said something like that, something stupid in a video. It had nothing to do with anything that I said in any video. What happened was people felt bad that I got laid off, and they went in exorbitant amounts and clicked on ads, and they shouldn't have done that. You should only be engaging with an ad if you actually have interest in said ad, okay? So, because so many people did this, all right, in a very short period of time on YouTube, I made an exorbitant amount of ad revenue money, and then they turned off my AdSense and said, you're suspended. That will be suspended indefinitely, and you can't make money on AdSense anymore, all right? So, at that time, that was about, I want to say that was October into November of 2010. So I was like, this sucks. Now what do I do? Well, there are other alternatives to YouTube. So I started uploading to a website called blip.tv. Now, this was a competitor, but not really to YouTube. They were a very different kind of website. You couldn't even really... The search functionality was nearly non-existent, didn't really work. You couldn't really sort your videos properly in playlists the way that you could do on YouTube. They claimed that they were adding that kind of added functionality and never really implemented it in the time that I was there. The videos didn't play back as well as YouTube. There was a lot of people having issues watching the videos. And they barely had any advertisements to go around. So if you had a video with an ad on it, you would literally see the same ad a million times on this site. The Zappos ad, which is for clothing, was actually infamous because it was the ad that was played 5 zillion times during Christmas of 2010, okay? So why am I bringing all this up? Because at this time, I couldn't make a living on YouTube, so I upended all my gaming content and I put it on Blip TV, which is why there is no top 10 or just Game of the Year awards for 2010 on YouTube at all. It's a missing year, okay? Can't find it. Now, you may say, well, what happened on Blip? I got kicked off of Blip. It's my fault. Today, I will wholeheartedly say this. I feel Blip acted harshly and Blip treated me unfairly. But I do feel that I did something stupid to cause myself to get kicked off of Blip. I made one video that contained anti-Semitic jokes in it, okay? Now, I had made racial jokes over the years and never got into problems on YouTube at all, not once. But because I made an anti-Semitic joke and jokes in that video, it's infamous, this video, okay? Basically, Blip contacted me and went overnight from, oh, you're the new Mr. Popular here on our website. You're going to make a lot of money, and we're going to make a lot of money on you. We want to have a private meeting with you and management at Blip. We're going to talk about your future. We want to grow your channel. You are the new guy. We're happy to have you here. We're very excited. 2 days later, I got a termination notice. We're kicking you off the site. You're not allowed to be here anymore. You only have like 7 days to remove your content, then we're deleting it permanently. All ads have been removed from your content. Get the fuck out. Literally didn't get any kind of someone reaching out to me and saying, hey, you made a really bad video. Don't ever do it again. It was just get out. Wow. So, you know, it sucks that happened, and I was stupid. At that point, I've told you guys this over the years. I was essentially trying to emulate jokes I had heard on the Howard Stern show, which is probably a bad idea because Howard Stern got into tons of problems over the years as well for the things he said and did on his show. So here I am thinking that I'm like Howard Stern and I'm going to be immune to it. Obviously, I was not. I was an idiot, and I paid for it. Okay, so I got kicked off Blip TV, and all the content that I had uploaded to Blip TV got deleted, including the Game of the Year awards. Now, I swear I uploaded that to YouTube at some point. Like, I swear to God I did. I swear that I had taken the stuff that was there and I had re-uploaded it to YouTube so that way that at least people could watch it. But maybe not. I don't remember. Like, you're asking me something from 12 years ago and I have no frame of reference. I don't remember, you know. I swear that what had happened was, like, I kicked off Blip, so I said, okay, guys, I'm coming back to YouTube. All right. You know what I mean? And basically, like, I wish I had the answers. I know for a fact I don't have those videos anymore. They're gone. I don't have hard copies of those anywhere. It's 12 years later, right? So I don't know where they would be. I don't know if anyone archived them. Likely someone did. You would think that people archived that countdown somewhere, but I don't know where. So like I said, this would be more of a question actually for you guys, the viewers, to maybe look and say, can you answer it? Because I don't actually know if anyone actually did save the Game of the Year awards from 2010 anywhere, and if those are actively viewable anywhere or not. But I wanted to give you the background of what had happened, why it's not, why that countdown is not available anywhere. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. We'll see. Leave video comments. Leave in the comments of this video. Let me know, is that available anywhere? And maybe we can help out Giovanni to find it, because I have no idea where that countdown would be at this point. Okay? There you go. Excuse me. So before we adjourn for a break, because this will be the final break, and then we're going to have the final part of Ask the King, I do want to do shout-outs. I want to say special thanks to my ongoing patrons who actually pledged to my Patreon. I know that I don't talk about my Patreon that often, and I know that it's basically not a major part of my content. There are still perks people get. This is one of them, actually, is to get a shout-out when I do Ask the King. Obviously, these people have been waiting a long time. It's been 4 months since I did an episode, but here we go. Without further ado, thank you to my ongoing supporters on Patreon.com. Big Toe 995, Crisis MOD, Martin M, Maya the Bees, Planet Jeff, Robert Wayne, Trey Coley, Tubar King, Sean Given, Thomas McDonald, David Denmark, QPZMWN, Richard, Riley Hagan, and Storm Force Gamer. Thank you guys so very much. I appreciate that. You guys give me the ongoing support. I really, really appreciate that. Okay? All right. It is time for our second break of Ask the King. When I come back from this brief break, we will have open forum questions that you guys posted on my website, DSPGaming.com. We'll have a Twitter question, and we'll probably have a little bit of time for open questions with the Q&A of the chat. Okay? So thank you guys so much, and I'll be back shortly. Awesome.